Marvel just hit the panic button. You already know Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Doom by now. What almost nobody's actually reckoned with is what that decision might cost. Because this isn't just fan service casting, it's a bet that could unravel everything Tony Stark's death was supposed to mean. Iron Man's sacrifice in Endgame was the emotional anchor of the entire Infinity Saga. I am Iron Man wasn't just a line, it was the ending, permanent, earned. That same face now belongs to Victor Von Doom, a tyrant, a conqueror, everything Tony Stark spent 11 films fighting against. This is the actor whose casting literally built this franchise back in 2008. Iron Man wasn't just Marvel's first movie, it was a genuine gamble on an actor most studios considered too risky to insure at the time. It worked, and it built the entire universe that came after it. That's not just a twist, that's a direct challenge to what Endgame told us actually mattered. And it's happening at the exact moment the Multiverse saga needs a win badly enough to reach for the one face guaranteed to trend, chasing the same lightning it caught back in 2008. Here's the practical problem nobody's really talking about. Dr. Doom wears a mask all the time. But Marvel didn't pay for Robert Downey Jr.'s face just to hide it for 2 movies straight, which means the smart money says we're gonna see that face a lot. And every time we do, we're not looking at Doom. We're looking at Tony Stark in a metal suit. And there's a real performance question buried in here too. Downey's built his entire career on physicality. Raised eyebrows, smirks, the way he talks with his hands. Take the face away and you're asking him to build an entirely different kind of performance from scratch. That's the cognitive dissonance this casting has to solve. And right now, nobody outside Marvel knows if they actually have an answer. Think about what this casting choice actually admits. Marvel had the entire multiverse to introduce a brand new actor as Doom, someone who could define the role for the next decade the way Downey defined Iron Man. Instead, they went back to the one face they already know works. Because here's what didn't make the marketing conversation. Doom wasn't the original plan, Kang was. Jonathan Majors had already been cast years earlier, building toward the next Thanos-level threat across the entire saga. Then real-world legal trouble hit, an earlier Kang movie underperformed, and Marvel's own Kevin Feige admitted it himself. Kang just wasn't big enough. So Doom isn't some bold new creative swing. He's what happens when the actual plan collapses and the fallback is the most bankable face still on the roster. That's not confidence. That's a studio that isn't sure it can make audiences care about someone new. And if the multiverse concept is just an excuse to keep recycling faces instead of building new icons, that's the real crisis. Not for Doom, for the whole saga heading into Fantastic Four and beyond. There was a version of this where a fresh actor becomes Doom with zero baggage. No Endgame to live up to, no Tony Stark comparisons, just a villain standing on his own. Marvel didn't take that path, and the risk is real. Doom doesn't become a standalone threat, he becomes a curiosity, a variant, a wait, is that really him moment instead of an actual character. It's a franchise betting that a familiar face sells more tickets than a fresh threat, which says a lot about how much Marvel currently trusts new material to carry a movie on its own. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. 2025 was the MCU's worst box office year since 2012, pandemic year aside. Fantastic Four barely cleared $500 million. Captain America and Thunderbolts didn't even get that far. And the Marvels collapsed to $200 million after Captain Marvel made over $1 billion. Doomsday reportedly cost $400 million to make, another $300 million to market. That's $700 million spent before a single ticket sells. When a franchise is bleeding that badly, a familiar face isn't a gamble. It's the safest bet left on the table. To be fair, there's a real case for genius buried in here too. Doom isn't just the Avengers problem. He's the Fantastic Four's oldest, most important villain. One casting move solves 2 franchise problems at once, instead of building 2 separate icons from scratch. And Downey's not exactly new to moral complexity either. Tony Stark spent half of Civil War acting like the actual antagonist. The seeds of this were already there. So, genius or desperation? Honestly, it might be both. If Doomsday and Secret Wars actually explain the resemblance in a way that means something, this could be the boldest swing the MCU has taken in years. If they don't, we're left with a tyrant who looks suspiciously like the hero who saved us. And no real reason why. This isn't a small bet either. Doomsday reportedly needs to clear $1.5 billion worldwide just to break even. The MCU isn't just risking Tony Stark's legacy. It's risking the franchise's financial future on this one gamble. Either way, this one decision is going to tell us whether the MCU still knows how to tell one connected story or whether it's just become a very expensive highlight reel of familiar faces. What do you think? Genius or desperation? Drop it below.